Howdy, y'all. Welcome back to Arnav Makes a Thing, episode 3. Today we're going to be making a base plate, and basically what it is just going to be a metal plate with some feet and some mounting holes so you can screw something into it. So the tools and topics that we're going to be using today are extruding, filleting, and hold wizard and mirroring. Those last two are new, by the way. So to start off, we're going to switch into inches, and we can start a sketch on the top plane. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to just make one corner of this base plate, and then we're going to be mirroring it to the other three sides as well. The reasoning for doing this is that this base plate is going to have a lot of complex features that we don't want to replicate every single time. So if we just make it once and then mirror it over, it'll make our lives a bit easier, and we don't have to go and make the same exact thing three other times. So I'm just going to put in some random dimensions here. I'm just doing 5 inches by 5 inches because why not? So now that we have just one corner, I'm going to just extrude this up using features, extrude boss base as before. And we'll bring it up by, I don't know, 0.25 inches. Again, all these dimensions are completely arbitrary. Now that we have this plate, we can start to make the feet at the bottom of it. This should be pretty easy. So I'm just going to do something along these lines. I'll make something like this. We'll go from this corner out, and I'll just smart dimension it down. Let's make it, how about 2.5 inches in width, and then we'll go uh, zero point 0.1 inches. How about that? Yeah, all right, that looks good to me. And we'll do the same thing on the other side as well. Um, and smart dimension, we'll do 2.5 by zero point 0.1. So now that we have that, we're going to make sure to select both of our areas here. I got to zoom in a bit here. So we're going to select that, and then features, extrude boss base. And we can now go to, just got to select this again. Yeah, so now that we have both these selected, we can go over to the boss extrude panel, and we will go out by, I don't know, let's say 0.5 inches. 0.5 inches. Yeah, that looks good to me. All right, so now that we have our feet done, we can come over to the top side and we can get started with some of the holes. So we're going to be actually using a new tool here called the hole wizard, and it's very similar to our extrude cut. It's just it's a little bit more specialized for when we make holes. So to start off with the hole wizard, you have all these settings, but we're not going to touch any of these. Just first off, we're going to start a 3D sketch by coming over into this positions tab. We're going to hit 3D sketch, and then we're going to select where on this front panel that we're going to do it. I'm just going to put it roughly here, and I'll come in and smart dimension it. So I'll put the smart dimension from that center point to this edge, and I'll say, uh, let's call it 0.75 inches, and we'll do the same thing for the other dimension as well. 0.75 inches. Okay, that's good. I'm satisfied with that. And let's head back to the type tab. And so while this entire thing might look very confusing at first, it's quite simple, quite honestly. So in hole type, first off, we're going to want to use just the normal hole. You can see all these random settings, and they all do different things. They're not quite what we want right now, so we'll just stick with this normal hole. Next up, we got to select the right kind of hole threads. So that's going to be ANSI inches. And then we're going to select tap drills. And again, you see a bunch of these options. All we need is tap drills. Next up is we got our size. And while this literally looks so incredibly confusing, I promise it's dead simple. All these numbers are basically just trying to specify what kind of threaded hole we're going to make. And all these are saying is we're going to make a, for example, right here, we have a 1/4 inch threaded hole that has 28 threads per inch. The one that we're going to want to use is actually 1/4, but it's going to be 20 uh, threads per inch. So now that we have that, we can come down here and then set our end condition. We're going to set it to be through all. So it's just gonna go straight through the thing, right? It's not gonna stop. So now that we have that, we can hit the check mark, and now we have a threaded hole. And I know you don't see any threadings in here right now. You just have to trust that it is threaded. And if we indeed went into like the engineering drawing and try to mark it up, it would show up as a threaded hole. And you can also verify that right here, if I select the tap drill, it'll show this feature as the tapped hole. So now I want to make one more counterboard hole in this side corner. So I'm just going to head over to sketch again, sketch on this plane, and let's make the hole. Why don't we make it 0. Sorry, 125 for the radius, and then we gotta zoom in a bit here. We'll make another hole on the inside of that a little bit smaller. What's That's 1/8, 2/16. We'll make it 1/16. I don't know. Doesn't have to be realistic dimensions, just has to be something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to counterbore this larger circle a little bit down. I'll say maybe 0.1 inches, and then this center hole is going to go all the way through. So let's just do the center one because that's easy. So select the area, extrude cut, and we're going to tell it to go through all. And it's just going to go, if I switch around to that side, you can see it goes through the entire thing. So, yep, let's do that. So now that's gone straight through. Now let's come back and we'll go for this one. So hit sketch again. Let's get that hole, and it was what, 0.125, I believe. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, whatever. So we select that area, features, extrude cut, and this time instead of going through all, we're going to go blind, but we're going to go down by 0.1 inches. So what you can see, if it does it, is it'll create a through hole, but also a little counterboard section. So this is where the head of the screw would sit in. So now that we have all these features, right? We have our base plate, we have the feet, we have counterboard hole, and the tapped hole. We want to create the rest of the three corners, right? But we're not going to go and sit here and, remodel this entire thing. Instead, we're going to use the tools provided for us to do it super easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to this command bar and we're going to say mirror. If I can spell, that'd be fantastic. Mirror. And we're going to hit bodies to mirror because this is indeed a body. We're going to select the body and the mirror face plane. Basically all this is it's going to select which plane, or like which you can think of it as well, I mean, it's a plane. You can say which plane it's going to mirror on top of. So if I select this side plane right here, you can see it slightly it draws it out in like yellow lines for us. And make sure, by the way, that you have partial preview on here because that'll show you the outlines. But yeah, it shows us what it'll become, and that looks good to me. So I'm just gonna hit knit surfaces as well, and all that does is just makes it into one solid body. But yeah, so if we hit check mark, you can see it took that original corner that we had and now duplicated it, mirrored it, and then stuck them together. And so this is half of the base plate. Let's do that operation again once more. By the way, this mirror thing, you can also find it in the features tab right here next to fillet, linear pattern, and whatnot. You got this mirror. So again, I'm going to select bodies to mirror and this entire thing. And the mirror face plane is going to be this plane. And you can see what it does. Looks good to me. Knit surfaces, check mark. Let's go. So now we have this entire base plate. We got 4 sets of legs, 4 sets of the holes, 4 sets of those counterboard holes, and we're good to go. Alrighty, to finish up, I think I'm just gonna put some fillets on here. Doesn't really matter to do this. It's just for the aesthetic, you can say. Also to make sure that no one cuts themselves on the edges of this thing. Although I'm not really making it, but it's nice to have, I suppose. I'll just give it a 0.1, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Yeah, looks nice enough to me. Alright, so that's the end of this tutorial. Let's just recap a little bit. What we did today is we made a base plate with some mounting holes, and we used the tools of extruding and filleting like we knew before, but we also learned how to use the hole wizard and mirroring tools. Um, so now that we know how to use those, we can go about our business and make anything we want. I hope you all enjoyed. Good luck, have fun, happy catting.